This is a review for War Lobster, who's black. So first opening moves are fine, but now comes the first. This is white splitting the side, because you can see black has both corners, so playing in between is splitting the side. And generally your options are just to push from either side. White has to defend himself, and you get to play some extra move. Whatever you have to choose, whatever is most advantageous, and any of these options are fine. You can even just play elsewhere because nothing is threatened for you, and you can just do something else. Or even more simple, just take an extension. Now you're completely safe and free to do whatever. But like this, with this move, it doesn't really have a clear purpose, because white still has A or B, so this isn't threatening the right side. It tries to take points on the top, but the top is still open, and it's white's move, so white can just play here, and now this move is a lot more awkward. So yeah, really pushing from our side would have been better. Defending your shape is of course fine, and this is also okay. Just keep in mind you can play also these other moves, they are all okay. But taking an extension from a Shimari is also, of course, a good move. And now comes the real important thing about this game. That is white invades with a single stone. And you can see there are 3 black stones and 1 white stone. So white is actually already under attack. White playing here wasn't anywhere close to the biggest move. There's still, the top is wide open, the side is open, the corners are open. So playing here doesn't accomplish anything. So you can just continue normally. You can play elsewhere. This white stone isn't doing very much. Instead you attach, and whenever you attach to a single stone, that single stone will defend itself. And now you can see your 1 stone here is weakened relative to these 2 stones is definitely weaker. And white stones now have 5 liberties. So white got stronger, and you still have a stone that needs help here. So instead you play away, and now you can say that white is fine because you owe white a move here, and yeah. It was actually a 3 against 1 situation, and now suddenly white is completely fine in this area because you attached once. So white kicks you here, and you correctly extend, because the follow-up for white is very severe and very good for white. And also in the shape you can see white needs to play another time, because it has a weakness here. If white plays elsewhere, then there's this very powerful attachment. So white plays another time. But now white kicks you, and you don't play again, but somewhere else. So normally you would want to extend, because the follow-up for white is still very severe, and white would just normally take an extension, you take an extension, and this is a balanced result. Or if you're worried about white coming with a severe attack, keep in mind there's still this weakness that white never defended, so you can easily just get some strength and take either the top or attack. And what's more, you also can play just this. This is the scorpion shape. Now you can see you can still attach on top, you can still jump out, you can still slide under. So if white decides to play this move, which is not the right timing, then you could easily just live on the side. So this is a flexible shape that you need to remember. So this happens, and white overextended, so you can follow it up right now, but keep in mind there's still a weakness here that white didn't defend. So later on you can get some good forcing moves or something else if you get more support. So you're attached to a single stone again, but in this case it's actually okay for you because you get a good result. This is pretty good for black, I think. There's a nice wall in center. So the next move is a bit overextended. You can just play like this. Now you take these points securely. The white can't come up close here anymore, and white couldn't just take a simple extension in and there's still this Agi over here. So like this, you take solid points and take options away from white. But with this move, as you can see, white still came in, and now you actually felt the need to defend your corner. And this move at 0.16 is now showing that it's not helping a whole lot. So this attack, I think, is good. This is a good direction because you're building up in the center and you already have a wall. And I mean, white could actually still connect under or connect out here. So this is maybe a bit over-eager, but okay, it's still the right idea. And it works out fine for you because white responds. And now you get a nice center. So this is really good. Nice result for black. And now white jumps in, and this decides the game. So when you have a situation like this, you are strong all around. This is your area, and white's single stone should have no expectation of living in here. This is just way too cramped, and black is strong. So all you have to do is keep in mind your weaknesses here. Eliminate your weaknesses, don't make white stronger, and white shouldn't live. So there are weaknesses here in the knight moves. White could look at escaping in this direction or in this direction, but for this you still have forcing moves here to close it off. So really the most urgent is this stuff. And here it's also that white has another group here that isn't quite alive yet. I mean, this stone still needs help, and in this direction is space, so it's not gonna die most likely, but you can play these two groups out against each other. They just don't let them connect, and you should get a good result. So just make yourself stronger. You limit white's movement, but eliminate your own weaknesses, and with a move like this, white would never live here. Instead, you attach again to a single stone and forcing white to defend themselves, and they get stronger. You see your one stone here only has 2 liberties left, so you have to defend. And suddenly what started out as a single stone is these 3 stones with 6 liberties that have options, the option to go in multiple directions. So, I mean, you're still strong in the area, and with this you should still be fine, but you definitely helped white here. And again, attachment to the single stone, when you could just make as a strong shape and not help white. So this wedge, I think, is also not good. Usually when you wedge like this, you do it to create cutting points, but you can see it's white's turn now, and white can defend the single cutting point, so you didn't accomplish anything with the wedge. And also you played an empty triangle. So yeah, this is once again helping white. Yeah, this is a forcing move. I would recommend just connecting. Although it looks nice for white, it still shouldn't be enough space to live. But in any case, you tried this. And now this is... when you want to kill a group, you need to be strong yourself. You can't kill something with weaknesses, a few weaknesses. So like this, you're opening up a whole lot of options for white, ways to force you. And you can imagine something like this could happen, where black gets severely reduced just because of the single stone that wasn't good connected well. So this happens, and actually white should still die. You just need to keep your group strong, eliminate your weaknesses, because these stones getting cut off is, of course, would be bad, and is what actually happened in the game. And yeah, and white shouldn't be able to live, because still shouldn't be able to live if white, I don't know, tries to get these moves in. It's still not an eye here, because this is not a point, doesn't give an eye, and white needs both moves. So yeah, white is dead. But instead we have this move, and you play an empty triangle and poke into this diagonal shape. And this is really something you never want to do. Almost never. I mean, yeah, there are of course exceptions. Because right now, for example, you wouldn't play here, right? White would just defend and you didn't accomplish anything. Same idea here. You don't want to make white stronger. And also, this is just an empty triangle that doesn't do anything. And now, again, you can look at the situation here. This point doesn't make an eye, so this point will never be an eye. Only these three squares can be an eye, potentially. But if you look at it closely, for all of these points, white would need 2 moves to make them into an eye. So as long as you don't play away, white should never be able to live here. You just need to stay strong, fix your own weakness, keep white contained, and now there's no way white will live here. But instead you play this move, and yeah, it's you make your own stones weaker, because now this stone becomes a burden. You need to save it in order to prevent the eyes here. And you can see this is really giving white all the forcing moves they need to get out of there. Yeah, because now white is safe. So the really important parts about this game are doing the splitting move right, then play opening moves that with a purpose in mind, right? You have to remember what this stone wants to accomplish, and right now trying to claim the top is not the best choice. Then attaching to single stones, very important. Again, this kind of attachment you also need to respond to correctly. And yeah, this. Don't attach to single stones if you want to attack them. You're gonna make them stronger. So that's all for this game.